I have the Google Pixel 7 Pro here, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to install the official build of LineageOS version 20. This process will work for the base model of the Pixel 7, as well as the Pixel 7 Pro that I have here, and it can be also used for both the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, since the installation steps are virtually identical. LineageOS is the most popular custom ROM available on Android. Its roots stem from CyanogenMod, but since then it has gained its own reputation for being an incredibly solid custom ROM. It doesn't have the most features as other ROMs available on Android, but the team offers a secure and stable custom Android firmware. To begin, we are going to need to make sure that our Google Pixel 7 has a version of Android 13 installed on it. Since LineageOS 20 is based on Android 13, we need to be on that version before we can install this custom ROM. I currently have the February build on this device, but from what I'm reading, it should work on any version of Android 13. And before we can install anything, we need to have some things set up ahead of time. For example, we must have an unlocked bootloader before any ROM can be installed. So if you haven't done this or you are not familiar with this process, be sure to look in the video description below to find a link to a dedicated tutorial that I've already done that shows all of the steps involved. We should then go ahead and download the files that are required for us to complete this installation. The latest version of the LineageOS ROM built for your specific device should be downloaded. We also need to download the Android 13 ARM64 version of a Google Apps package. And we're going to need to download the recovery image file. This is going to be a vendor_boot.img file that we can download that has been made specifically for the device you are installing it on. When you go to the wiki installation page for your device, as we scroll through and we get to the booting a custom recovery section, whether you have the Google Pixel 6, Pixel 6 Pro, Pixel 7, or Pixel 7 Pro, on your specific installation page, you should find a download link where we can find that vendor_boot.img file. Again, these are all going to be linked in the installation wiki page, but I'll go ahead and include them in the video description as well. And once you have downloaded all of these files, all three of them need to be saved in the same folder as our ADB and fastboot tools on the PC. With all of that done, when you're ready to begin, we're going to need to boot the Pixel 7 Pro into fastboot mode. Again, if you're not familiar with how this is done, look in the video description below, as I'll have a link to the step-by-step process for that. When you are at fastboot mode, make sure that we have a USB cable connected to it from the PC. And then we're going to open up a command prompt, a Windows PowerShell, or a terminal window from within the same folder as our ADB and fastboot tools. If you want, you can even go ahead and type out the command fastboot space devices and press enter to make sure that you get a result that includes a collection of numbers and letters, and then the word fastboot right here, and that will make sure that your PC can recognize your device that is connected via fastboot. Now we're going to install the recovery image file to our device by typing out the command fastboot space flash space vendor underscore boot space and then the name of the vendor underscore boot file that we downloaded. That file name should be vendor underscore boot.img, but it could be a different file name depending on if you've changed it or where you have downloaded it. We can also just start typing out the file name, as I've done here, and then press the tab button to auto-complete that file name. With all of that typed out, we're going to press enter on the keyboard, and we should get 2 OK messages right here. One OK message after fastboot has sent that file to the vendor underscore boot partition, and another OK message after it has been written to the vendor underscore boot partition, just as we instructed it to in that command. After we have flashed that vendor boot file to the device, we need to boot the Google Pixel 7 into recovery mode. This is done by using the volume buttons until you see the recovery mode option highlighted, and then pressing the power button to select that option. You should see the screen go black as the phone is rebooting and taking us from fastboot mode over into recovery mode. There's no need to press any buttons during this boot. We've already instructed the device to reboot into recovery mode, and it should take us to this custom recovery built by and for LineageOS. So now we're going to highlight the factory reset option. Press the power button to select it. Make sure that the format data / factory reset option is highlighted again. Press the power button to select it. And then confirm, yes, we do want to format data by highlighting that option and pressing the power button to select it. With that done, it should bring us back into recovery mode, where we're going to go back to the main menu for recovery mode. Now we can begin the installation of the LineageOS 20 custom ROM by highlighting the Apply Update option and pressing the power button, and then making sure the Apply from ADB option is highlighted before pressing the power button again to bring us into ADB sideload mode. Now let's turn our attention back to the command line and type out that sideload command. So we're in that same terminal window that we used before. Again, this window needs to be in the same folder as our ADB and fastboot tools, as well as our LineageOS firmware file. The command we're going to be typing out is ADB space sideload space and then the file name of the LineageOS firmware file. Just like before, we can begin typing out that file name and then press the tab button on the keyboard so that it will auto-complete that file name. And remember, we still have our Google Pixel 7 Pro connected to the PC with a USB cable. With all of that set up, we're going to press enter on the keyboard. And now we're going to wait until the firmware is sent to the Pixel 6 or Pixel 7 Pro. There is a note on the install wiki page saying that in some cases, the process could stop at 47% with a success message. You can follow along with the percentage right here. Or that you could see a failed to read command error, and all of those messages seem to be okay responses. The main goal here is while this firmware is being sent to the phone, we need to make sure that the Google Pixel has a stable connection to the PC with that USB cable. So there's no need to pick up the phone, no need to handle it, no need to mess with the USB cable. Let's just make sure that that USB connection is stable. You can see once we got to 47% here, it seemed like it froze or paused. But if we look at the Google Pixel, you can see that it's going from getting that file to now installing the update. Right now on the phone, we are seeing step 1 of 2 of the install process. And there's no need to interact with the phone at all. The phone knows how to install this custom ROM, and it's going to go from step 1 of 2 to step 2 of 2 on its own. You can see after it completed step 1 of 2, it moved on to step 2 of 2, and then we got a install completed with status 0 message right here at the bottom. Now with all of this done, if you want to run the ROM without Google Apps, then you can choose the Reboot System Now option to boot back into Android from here and begin using your smartphone. However, if you're also wanting to use the Google Play Store, then you need to install a GApps package as well. This needs to be the ARM64 version of the Android 13 Google Apps package. The LineageOS team has linked to the Mind the GApps version, and it too needs to be in the same folder as our ADB and Fastboot tools. However, before installing it, we need to reboot from recovery mode back into recovery mode. So let's use the volume down button until you see the advanced option is highlighted. Then press the power button to select it. And then we're going to press the volume down button until reboot to recovery is highlighted. And then press the power button to select that option. Just like before, the screen is going to go black, and it's going to begin the restart process. There's no need to press and hold any buttons here. It's going to begin booting back up. And then, again, same thing with this screen. We're not going to touch anything. After this, it's going to bring us back into that same recovery mode screen. So now, if you're wanting to install the Google Apps package, we need to again highlight the Apply Update option and press the power button to select it. Make sure the Apply from ADB option is highlighted and press the power button to select it. And now we are in ADB sideload mode again. So let's do the same thing we did for the LineageOS firmware, but this time let's do it for the gapps package file. So again, our phone is in AEDB sideload mode. So we're going to type out the command AEDB space sideload space, and then start typing out the name of that gapps package that we downloaded. We just need to type a few letters out before pressing the tab button so that it auto completes that file name. Again, we need to have the Android 13 version of the ARM64 gapps package. With all that typed out, we're going to press enter on the keyboard, and it's going to send that file to the device. Since the gapps package is not built by the LineageOS team, we're going to see a signature verification failed message with it asking us if we want to install it anywhere. So let's make sure that the yes option is highlighted, and then press the power button to select it. And then the script will go through the Mind the gapps installer so that it will install the Google applications included in that package. Now, if you want to root the phone with Magisk, I would first boot into Android by making sure the Reboot System Now option is highlighted, and then pressing the power button to select it, so that you can first set the phone up like you normally would and check to make sure that everything is working beforehand. If everything looks good, then we would need to boot back into recovery mode and do the same AEDB sideload command that we did for the firmware and the Google Apps package, except this time we're going to do it for the Magisk zip file. I won't be showing you how to do that in today's video, so I'm just going to make sure that the Reboot System Now option is highlighted, and I'm going to press the power button to select it. As you saw, the screen is going to go black, and it's going to reboot and take us back into Android. But remember, we just did a major install of a firmware, and we formatted the data partition. We have erased everything on our device. So this first boot back into Android is going to take longer than normal. You can see it take us to the boot animation screen. And we're just going to wait patiently for it to finish setting everything up and bring us to the Android activation phase. So I'm just going to skip through most of this stuff and show you that LineageOS is now installed properly. The phone was very quick to boot back up. We can dive into the Settings application, tap on About Phone, and see that we have LineageOS installed with Android 13. They even have the LineageOS Easter egg that you can find by tapping on the LineageOS version option that you saw there. So I hope this helped anyone who is interested in installing LineageOS on their Google Pixel 7, Pixel 7 Pro, Pixel 6, or Pixel 6 Pro. The process may seem long, but it is not complicated at all, as long as you don't miss any steps. And hopefully this video showing you how it's done from start to finish will give you confidence in installing it on your device as well.